Hello, my name is Dale Maley. In this short video, I'd like to show you an interesting project I just finished recently, and it was making a display box to show what old and modern wood looked like that was used to build houses. And this particular old piece of wood came out of the Strevell House. It's at 401 West Livingston Street in Pontiac. It's built about 1855. The unique architecture on the exterior that's shown in the photo is technically called Carpenter Gothic. That house is on the National Register of Historic Places as of April of 2023, and the house is owned by the Livingston County Historical Society. Now, back in 2008, the Strevell House was pretty much ready for the wrecking ball. It was really in bad shape. 3 Pontiac men purchased the house with the intent to renovate it and donate it to the Livingston County Historical Society. So it actually took 10 years to renovate the house, and it took so long mostly because they had to raise funds as they went along to pay for the renovation. When the renovation was completed around 2018, all the surplus construction materials were placed in a second-story closet in the house. Unfortunately, we sort of forgot about cleaning that closet out, so it sat there full of that junk for about 5 years until early 2023. And I took about 10 days to clean out that room and also install some new shelves. So I took some photographs before I started cleaning out that room upstairs in the Strevell House, and you can see the photos here. It was pretty much full of all types of leftover construction materials. The upper left shows on the west wall there's a pile of scrap lumber left over. In the upper right, we actually had 40 Harold Cunningham paintings, a local Pontiac artist. He donated those to the Historical Society. We didn't have a proper way to store them. All we could do is put sheets over them to keep the sunlight and dirt off of them. Lower left, we had excess doors, and then you can also see all the excess materials in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, here's 3 photos I took after I completed cleaning out the room and building some new shelving. On the upper left, that new shelving is to hold Harold Cunningham's paintings. You can see I've got, on the upper right, I've got all that part of the room cleaned out. And then the bottom photo shows a second shelf that I built to store some items for the house that we need, like Christmas decorations and some miscellaneous items. Also put a sheet over the artwork to keep the dust and also keep the sunlight off the paintings. So when I was cleaning out that closet room upstairs in the scrap lumber pile, I did find a piece of 2x4 that had been removed from the house. And the house was built around 1855, so that's the large so-called 2x4 shown on the left-hand side here. Then on the right, the shiny yellow pine, that's a modern 2x4. So you can see how much larger the lumber was in Pontiac back in 1855 compared to today's lumber. So I thought the comparison between the old 1855 2x4 and a modern 2x4 would make a neat exhibit to show inside the Strevell House for visitors who tour the house. The next question becomes, how do you make a nice display for that? So what I came up with was basically a box as shown here. The wood part of the box would be white oak. Then I would stain that with a teak color and then finish it with a coat of shellac. Then to keep the dust off and everything, I would have a clear acrylic or plastic sides and a top. Then I wanted to be able to take the thing apart for cleaning and that type of thing. So I designed it so I could use brass screws to assemble it. And then if it ever had to be taken apart, just simply take out the screws and it can be disassembled. Now here's the same drawing of the display box, except I remove the clear acrylic that I was showing in the previous one, so you can actually see inside the display and what visitors would actually see looking through the clear plastic. And we'd have the 2 short pieces of 2x4 with a much larger 1855 on the left, and then the modern one 2023 shown on the right. In this view of the drawing, I zoomed in so you can see the labels I planned on using. For the larger 2x4 on the left, I had a nice little label 1855, 2.25 inches by 4.75 inches. Then the modern 2023 2x4, which is only 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Now, one of the design questions for this display box was, what do I use for the bottom of the box? And it needs to be able to handle contraction and expansion of wood that happens when you have temperature and humidity changes. I could use 1/4-inch plywood that had some oak veneer on it, and plywood doesn't really move with temperature and humidity changes. That's an option. Or another option is I could use what I call the kitchen cabinet floating panel concept. And on your kitchen cabinet, if you look at it, you'll have a center panel. You'll have boards running on the tops and the sides. And there's a groove in that frame so that floating panel can float with temperature and humidity changes. And I decided to go with that approach. I could use standard 3/4-inch thick white oak. And I had a new shaker style floating panel router bit that I wanted to try out as well. Now I took the drawing and I removed the bottom frame piece so you could see what the blue bottom looks like, the shaker floating panel. And then as you can see, it fits into a groove in the side piece with some space in there so it can expand and contract with temperature and humidity changes. This photo shows how I made that floating shaker panel. I used a router table, and you can see the panel there, and it's a rather unusual shaped router bit, and you have to take several passes, but it does a nice job and gives you what's called a shaker style, which are basically just angles. There's other ones that have curves, sometimes called colonial, but anyway, I wanted to use the shaker one, which is simple, and it turned out pretty nice. This photo shows the stage where I had the white oak frame all completed, and it's to the point I'm ready to cut and install the clear acrylic top and the 4 sides. You can also see some brass screws in the top there that allow it to be assembled and disassembled. This photo shows the stage where I had the frame all done. I had it stained and also shellac. I took it back apart so I could put in the old piece and the new piece of 2x4. You can see that I attached the labels there with small brass screws to the wood, and then I used some blue painter's masking tape to help me locate where I wanted them, and then that's how I knew how to drill through the bottom, because I have screws coming up from the bottom that hold the 2x4s in place. That blue masking tape is a nice trick that helps you keep stuff in proper alignment. And this photo shows the completed project with the clear acrylic plastic panels installed on the sides and the top. Then everyone always wants me to put the coffee mug in there so you can get an idea for scale of how big it is. And it turned out pretty nice. Some closing thoughts on this nice little project. This design should last for many years as a display piece in the Strevell House. And as far as I can tell, the 2x4 sizes were not really standardized across the United States until sometime in the 1950s. So many younger people have never seen what an older size 2x4 looked like. And probably very few have seen, in Central Illinois, have seen one that dates back to 1855. So you can take a free tour of the Strevell House. Our standard hours are 1 to 3 p.m. on the third Saturday of each month. You could also tour our other 2 houses, the Yost House and the Jones House as well, on the same days and the same times. So in summary, this video explains how to build a display box for a couple pieces of 2x4s. Hopefully this gives you some ideas for how you can display your project. Probably aren't displaying 2x4s, but many other things can be displayed in a box like this. So maybe it gives you some ideas of how to design the box and how to use the acrylic sides and the top. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe. Thank you.